while traveling, do you need a home base? Yes, no, maybe. What are the pros and cons to having a home base as a slow traveler? We're going to talk about that today because we do have a home base. Welcome back to Your Time to Travel. I'm Karl.
And I'm Tina.
So let's take a deep dive into this traveling thing around the world after you sell all your stuff. Do you need a home base? Should you have a home base? And what are the pros and cons? So we decided to be a big pro. And there is one main reason why.
It would be a pro to have a home base.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. We decided we needed a home base because we have a dog.
Yes. So I think when we first started out on this journey, I think we thought we would move around a lot more. And we did at first. Mm-hmm. We did probably, the first 2 months we moved around, maybe every week, every 2 weeks. And then we kind of extended it to 30 days. And I think during that time was when we kind of decided we kind of need a place to settle, call home base.
Yeah, it was feeling like vacation.
Yeah.
And we moved around. In the beginning, we moved around because we drove to Canada.
Yes, in the States, when we very first sold our home and sold all of our things, and we only had a car.
A car full of stuff.
2 suitcases, 2 backpacks, a golf bag, and Benny.
Yep.
And we loaded it all into our car, and we went on kind of like a road trip in the USA, seeing
everybody, letting them know, hey, pretty soon we're not going to be on this continent.
Yeah.
So then we did 2 weeks in Canada.
Yeah.
And that was cool. That was the start. Mm-hmm. Then we did a little over 2 weeks in Mexico City.
Right.
Then we came back to the U.S. Mm-hmm. So that was feeling like vacation. We really weren't in a place long enough to where it felt like, okay, this is slow traveling. It just felt like we just did one vacation.
Yes.
Now we're going to another vacation. And now we're back just to see everybody one more time. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to do another vacation. Mm-hmm. Except for the expensive part of flying from the U.S. to Thailand. Mm-hmm. And the expensive part about getting a dog from the U.S. to Thailand.
Right.
That made us slow down.
Yes.
Yeah, because...
I think we found out pretty quickly that moving around frequently, it costs more money. It transfers from the airport to hotels, deposits on where you're going to stay. If you're not staying in a hotel, but with Benny, even staying in a hotel, we had to do the pet deposits. But if you're doing long-term rental or short-term rental, sometimes there's deposits and things like that. So it can add up, just the transportation from moving around. And we always had to have a van that could, or something that could hold Benny and his crate. And so moving around can be costly. So there's pros and cons. It really just comes down to what each person prefers.
Well, I know we can talk about how the cost of an Airbnb, hotel, and a long-term rental, how much they differ. Because depending on what you want to do, let's say you're out traveling, because we did it recently. We used points for almost a month when we went back to the U.S.
Yes.
We used IHG points pretty much the whole time we were in the United States.
Right.
So we only came out of pocket maybe a couple of nights.
Right.
The whole time we were there. So hotel accommodations, that could be good. But when you have a pet, you really have to weigh your options on that. Mm-hmm. Airbnb used to be the way to go. Now Airbnbs really aren't that much less expensive than a hotel.
Yes.
Because of the cleaning fees.
Yeah.
The other fees that, they kind of add to bottom line. Mm-hmm. So Airbnb isn't really that much less expensive depending on where you're going. And a lot of places have made them illegal.
Right.
Unless you're staying for 30 days or longer. Mm-hmm. So you run the risk of getting kicked out of an Airbnb if somehow the local authorities find out that there's this illegal Airbnb. You're just out of your money, out of your accommodations.
Right.
And for us, we'd be out of accommodations with a dog.
Yeah.
So the Airbnb thing, you have to be very careful about the country's laws because even though it may be against the law,
Yeah.
people are still doing Airbnbs in certain places.
Right.
You know, and long-term rentals, renting a condo, way more accommodating for pets.
Right. Yes.
Way more accommodating for pets. And that's what we found out by the time we got here to Thailand. We did a long-term rental of 3 months in Hue Hin, Thailand. And I mean, how do you feel about how that worked out versus the Airbnbs we had done and the hotel stays that we had done? How do you feel about?
The long-term rental, you know, there's pros and cons to that too. It's nice because it kind of gives you a place to call home for, you know, an extended length of time, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And the cons to that, though, even though you have stability, you're coming home to the same place every night, but also you have to kind of stock the house. You know, that those are expenses. So if you're staying for a long period of time, you know, you wind up needing things to cook with, and, you know, sauces and condiments, and then you're there longer, so you want to make it feel a little bit more homey. And so those are costs, you know, when you're staying in a place for a long period of time.
Yeah.
As you start to accumulate things.
Yeah. So we had to buy a mattress pad to make the mattress a little more comfortable for us, to our liking. What else?
We bought like
French press. Had to buy
a wok type thing, so
skillet.
we could kind of cook in. And
even though some places have all of that, but
Right.
the one place we rented for 3 months did not have a lot of kitchen supplies that we wanted.
Yeah.
And we bought a mattress pad. We purchased air purifiers. You know, because of doing a burn season in Bangkok, it gets a little bad outside. Air quality gets bad, so the air purifiers and plants.
Right.
It worked itself out. And you have to pay utilities too.
Yes.
So that's a con to long-term rentals. But the pros is yours. It's not a hotel.
Right.
So you have more privacy. And the privacy thing is huge. You know, staying in a hotel is great, but when we were back in the U.S., stayed in hotels for a month, how much privacy did we really feel we had? Every time we opened that door,
Yeah.
it was just people out there.
Yeah.
And we never felt like we were actually home and someone's knocking on the door to come clean. You know, now we got to go. We don't want to go, but now we got to go.
Yeah.
The Airbnb, it gets cleaned at the end. You know, sometimes there's an arrangement where somebody may come, like when we're in Hue Hin for our first rental Airbnb. She came, twice
Yes.
during our 10-day stay. Okay, that's great. But you never truly feel like you're totally comfortable unless you do a long-term rental where it's yours, you have total privacy. But if you don't care about that,
Yes. Yeah. So it's kind of like what works for you. There's a lot of pros in the long-term rental. I think the one con for us is it does restrict your freedom to be able to pick up and go.
that's
So in Airbnbs or hotels, you can kind of, you know, it's not permanent. But when you sign a lease and you're there for a certain amount of time, you can pick up and go, but you can come back. But it's yours. You're responsible for it. You're responsible for the utilities. So that's the one thing. And then you start to accumulate all of these things, and you're like, oh, well, you know, when the lease is up, we can move. But now you have all these things that you have to move. So you're kind of like building another life. So you really have to, you know, weigh the pros and cons.
Because I think when we first got to Thailand, we took a few trips. Now, we had our 3-month lease, so that was our base. We found a pet boarding place in Hue Hin that was outstanding. Plenty of land for him to run around. So I think we went to Malaysia. We went down to KL, Kuala Lumpur. I think we took our first trip to the islands. We went over to Koh Samui, stayed for a few nights. So we use it as our base.
Yes.
And it worked out because we have a dog. We really needed a base because flying around with a dog every trip, I don't think that's not very practical. And some airlines won't let you transport pets. And remember, okay, it's a service animal. Well, that's not the policy in every country.
Right.
So you have to roll with the flow.
Yes.
You know, if they don't do service animals on their flight, they don't do it.
Yes.
It's like, can't say, well, back home. Well, you're not home. Okay. So yeah. So I mean, so for us, it worked out. You also have to worry about consider the financial part. So you can get hotel accommodations for very, very cheap, depending on where you are and what you're looking for in your budget. But if you're bringing a dog along like us, you're very restricted on what places allow pets, what places don't allow pets.
Yes, and there's always that pet deposit.
There's always a pet deposit.
You know, so
if you're by yourself, yeah, you can probably just stay in the most affordable accommodations if you don't need much besides a bed and bathroom and a mini fridge. You can do many great things, but that's not really slow traveling. But
yeah, so that's what I mean. I think that's where you kind of really have to. I think you have to try it all and then see what works for you, and then make up your mind what your goal is. So, do you want a lot of freedom? Do you just want to have the only belongings you have fit into that backpack in that suitcase, and you can just pick up and go, and you don't want accumulate a lot of stuff? Is that what you want? Do you want that freedom? You know, or after some people, a period of time, you really want stability. You want the same place, to come home to the same place, to feel comfortable, and to start to create an environment that feels, you know, like home and more comfortable. And when you're comfortable and you're in this place for a long time, you do start to accumulate things. And so it's less with the freedoms, you know, but more with stability. So those are things that I think we didn't know about or had experience with when we first started this journey. Because I think in your mind, you're like, oh, I'm going to travel. We're going to move all around. I can't wait to go here, here, and here. And then in the reality of it, it's expensive and it is tiring. And then you have, you know, with us, we have a dog. So we're in like a little niche area of traveling. So yeah, so it's like real alive experiences versus what you think it will be like.
And another factor to consider, do you want to belong somewhere? Most people want to belong somewhere. So having a home base, do you feel like we belong?
Yeah.
I know I do, because we walk into certain restaurants, they know who we are.
Well, we're part of, you know, on the road we live on, we're part of that community now.
Right.
We see the same people out with their dogs. You know, we see the ladies who walk in the evening time. You get to know the soy dogs there, the people at the market. You know, you're part of that community. You know, on that street that we live on, we've become part of the community there, and you start to meet people. So we walk our dog, they know Benny. When we buy fruit at the corner, they know it's there. You know, I think it's great when we go to get on the public transportation in the morning time. I just walk up and say good morning, and the lady that works there already knows that I want a green tea, no milk, no sugar, and she just makes it. And she knows I have a cup, to-go bottle, and she always just asks me, reaches for my bottle. It's, we even recognize the security on the train, so it's having a sense of a home base. It makes you comfortable. Yeah. And you start to talk to people, and then you start getting off the beaten path when it comes to food. You start learning where you can go for some local food, local pricing, and that makes a huge difference versus just going to tourist trap restaurants that were on, some mainstream list. So, I think having a home base for us, it has a lot of benefits.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It has a lot of benefits. And the freedom, it takes a little planning now.
Yeah.
We have planned freedom.
Yeah, you have planned freedom. And it's still different than being in the grind back home, because we're doing things at our own pace. We just don't do them as quickly or as spontaneously as we would. Only reason why we don't do things as spontaneously as we would is because we have a dog.
Yeah.
But we can still make a move within a couple days.
Right. Yes.
You know? And another thing about having a home base, you don't have to worry about having to always book a flight or a train or a bus. You can spread that stuff out. And then the whole traveling around the world things gets a lot more affordable, because the worst part about traveling is transportation for the most part. I mean, local food is going to be affordable unless you just want to go to 5-star restaurants every day or you want to eat Western food every day. You know, drink alcohol every day. Those are the expensive things. But if you eliminate just having the constant need to pay for transportation, this whole thing is very affordable.
Right. Yeah. So
having a home base for us, it works out.
It does. So, we have our home base, and then we do, and that's why we picked Asia, is because for our first home base, is because there's so much to see here. There's so many different countries, and it's a good kind of center point to be able to go and experience all the other countries.
Yeah. Just think about the percentage of the world's population. Majority of the world's population is over in this area.
Right.
So there's a whole lot of culture and history over here. And we've enjoyed seeing it. And want to make one point. A barrier to entry for the slow traveling and traveling the world thing, if you're from the U.S., is that initial flight getting out of the U.S. That's the most expensive thing you're going to do. And trust us, once you get on that flight and you get out of the U.S. and you start traveling the world, it gets a whole lot more affordable.
Yeah.
The worst thing you have to do is the initial flight out of the U.S. It is so expensive to get out. But once you get out, everything gets so much more affordable.
Yes, it's expensive to get out of everything you've committed, all your responsibilities in the U.S. It's expensive to end your Wi-Fi contract early, your cable, everything, your phone, to get out of your,
I remember that.
Just having to end your car insurance and just ending all of the responsibilities that you have in the U.S. They make it expensive to end it early.
Yeah, I never thought it'd be so hard to cancel internet.
Right. Yeah, it was.
Like, wow, you guys can't just let me do this online.
There's no cancel button to cancel your
certain
internet.
Things, you couldn't just cancel it online.
You have to call them.
You have to talk to someone.
Yes, and that takes days.
And they want to discuss many other options.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in the storefront.
No.
Can't do it online. There is no cancel button. There's a phone number that you have to call. So that getting rid of your responsibilities that, like your house, your car, internet, those types of things, and the flight out of the U.S., those are probably the most expensive things.
Speaking of things, how do you feel and what are your thoughts about being a minimalist? We have a condo here, fully furnished. Just about every condo over here comes fully furnished. So if we've forgotten to mention that when we talk about prices and how much it costs on a lease over here, these are fully furnished condos, like fully furnished TVs, kitchen supplies for the most part, fully furnished. So totally different than what we're used to, because that wasn't a thing back home.
No.
And so we still have very little things that we actually own.
Right.
How you feel about that? Do you
I
miss having
great.
stuff?
Right now, I think that we own too many things. It's not.
Still have a PS4.
Not a lot. It's not. There's not a lot that we actually, have bought since we've been here. But it still is probably a little bit too much. I wish we had less. I liked it better when all of our belongings literally fit into the suitcase in the backpack.
Yeah, we bought a chair from IKEA. We bought a TV. As if there weren't enough TVs, we bought a TV.
Yeah.
And that was the old me when we bought that TV, because I still wanted a big TV to watch sports. And a year later, I barely watch sports.
Right. Yeah.
So now we have this big TV, and it's not used for sports. It's very interesting. Things change when you get out here and see the world. Your whole mindset, everything changes.
Everything changes.
So yeah, I agree with it. We still own very little.
Very little. And
literally a chair, a TV, and
plants. 2 air purifiers. And
yeah, I mean, that compared to supplying furniture for a
we do have like a whole
house.
Makeshift studio too.
Yeah, we have a whole
lights and
recording studio.
Yeah,
we did buy lights and all that stuff too. But how do I feel about it? I think it's great. Mm-hmm. You know, we see all the nice cars and we make mention of, man, that's a nice car, because there's a lot of luxury cars over here, and they look so nice, and nice homes, but it's really nice not owning any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty cool.
It's very freeing not having those responsibilities.
Yeah, I can't imagine actually paying for certain types of insurance ever again. Just the thought of it is very discomforting. It makes me really kind of cringe thinking about how much we used to pay for insurance for certain things. So yeah, being a minimalist, I don't think we'll go back to owning a bunch of stuff. It's too free. It's too liberating. Mm-hmm. You know, just you can get a really nice furnished apartment, furnished condo. Yeah. And then at your lease, you just pack up and you're like, all right, what's next?
Where are we going next?
The biggest piece of furniture we have is a dog crate for the flight. So a little self-reflection on how you feel about the home-based world versus maybe a hotel for a month, 2 weeks. How do you feel about having a lease for a few months or a lease for a year as your home base versus just doing the hotel room thing? Because we talked about this because we were going to do with one of our hotel chain reward cards, we were gonna do the whole IHG thing, staying in a hotel that allows dogs, and you accumulate points. So when you travel, you can just use points on your travel. We thought about going that route, and then we ultimately decided to go with leasing the condo. So retrospect, how do you feel about it? Would you do the same thing again, or would you? How would you handle it?
That's such a hard one because we also had a recent. When we had some friends come and visit, we tried it out again in full serviced hotel. They're like apart hotels. And so it's full service. So we tried that out for a month. And it is nice because everything is included, you know, electricity, water. It, of course, is furnished. They have like all the sheets, bedding, all that stuff, towels is taken care of. But there is that sense that it's not home and you are just a guest somewhere. So there are always people kind of in and out of the condo coming to check on things or cleaning or this or that. So you don't have privacy and you always feel like a guest. And then the long term is definitely more comfortable. So I don't know. I'm 50-50 right now between those two.
Yeah, the pros of the full service apartment / hotel. So we didn't have to do anything.
We didn't have to do anything. But you don't have a lot of space either. I mean, I guess it depends on how much you want to spend.
Yeah.
You could have a lot of space. Yeah. That's a lot of money. So we do have more space in the condo that we rent, and it is more comfortable and it feels more private. And we had a decision. We could have done either one, and we did decide to stay in the condo. And I think because of the space and the comfort and the privacy.
Yeah, nobody's coming in the condo unless we ask you to come.
Right.
But we have to clean. We have to supply our own coffee.
Yes.
There's no happy hour included in the...
Yeah.
So we look for, on our social media, look for one of our reels or shorts coming up. You're going to see one of the places that we're talking about. And it was outstanding. We were there for a month and it was brand new. We were the first people to stay in that room, and there were still, figuring everything out, and it was a great experience. And we're going to do a quick video about that coming up really soon. So check us out on social media. Kind of feel the same way. It was a very tough decision to make on.
It was. Either one of the decisions would have been, I think we would have been happy, but we just decided.
Yeah.
You know why? Probably because it was easier also to stay where we are, because we didn't have to move or get rid of those things.
I bet that was a factor.
The things
don't have
that
to get
we
rid
had.
of our IKEA chair, TV, plants.
It was just easier to stay.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, what would you do? How would you handle the situation? Something to really think about. Airbnb, hotel using points, accumulating points, short-term or long-term lease on a condo. Something to think about before you start traveling around the world or whatever you want to do. Is something to really think about. You have to weigh the pros and cons, because there's pros and cons everywhere. You can have free breakfast at the hotel.
Right.
At the full-service apartment, someone comes and cleans every day for you. You can just say, hey, I'm here for 2 weeks, a month, and then you walk away. Or you can do the lease, where you have total privacy, probably a little more space, and a sense of truly being at home.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So please leave us comments. Tell us what your thoughts are, because we've done all the above, and we've decided as of now on the condo.
Yeah.
But depending on what country we're in, it's all subject to change. All right. So please let us know. Subscribe to our channel, like this video. Or if you're listening, please subscribe, leave us a review. Check us out on yourtimetotravel.life. Check out our store. Check out our free travel checklist. And upcoming is going to be our course to help you prepare, get out of the grind whenever you decide you're ready. And we're going to help you with all the ins and outs on how to do this, so you don't have to learn. You don't have to learn the hard way. We do all the hard work for you. We've done it all. So a year later, we're out here loving it. Not planning on changing anytime soon. So thanks for watching or listening, and always remember that it's your time to travel.